Welcome one and all. We are back for Tier 2, round number 3 this time, and it's our first street circuit of the season. I think we've got like 4 street circuits in a row, so let's get ready for some tight action. Yeah, Miami, Canada, Singapore, Vegas. You got 4 street circuits in a row, so mate, everyone's going to be absolutely loving life. If you're new to this league and this is your first time watching, this is WHF. We have there's 3 tiers. Tier 3 on Fridays, Tier 2 you're watching right now Saturdays, and then Tier 1 Sundays, all at 8 p.m. UK time. This is the 3rd week of WHF Season 6. Had 2 different race winners so far this season. We had Scones, out of absolutely nowhere, win the Chinese Grand Prix in the season opener. And then in last week's race, Jamaican Jam won for Alpine. And that actually, I believe, made him the championship leader. I'm not wrong. No, sorry. Aaron in the Red Bull. You can see currently sat in P3. He is the championship leader. 2 points ahead of SSR Zampa in the McLaren, who I don't actually think is he. I don't actually think he is here today. So let me. I'm actually going to quickly fact check that. Yeah, Zampa is not here today. So the man's 2nd in the World Championship, not racing this evening. And then Scones, the man who was the championship leader after the opening round, on 31 points, 3 points back. He definitely is here today. Dub Z, who is 7 points back, is also here as well. Craig Conley, who is also 7 points back, is here as well, I believe, in the other McLaren. Yeah. Sluskan, 24 points, is here as well. Only 10 points back. The top 7, I think. Let's go to like the top 10 in the World Championship are split by 12 points. It's everything to play for here, and it's only round 3, I know, but there's still every chance to be able to just take the lead of the championship. Like Code Matic could be the championship leader after this. The Haas, Brams in the Williams. You know, there's so much possibility here. The top 10 split by 12 points. I'll reiterate again. There is so much potential for a massive shake-up, as I believe Arrows had his first spin of the day, and indeed he has. I believe there might be some front wing damage. I don't know what he's doing. But El Prat making his way through the Mickey Mouse section of this Miami circuit. Welcome to Miami, of course. Arguably one of the most controversial tracks, although I personally enjoy this track quite a lot. To be remotely honest, it's actually one of my favourite tracks to drive, personally. But making our way down towards the final braking zone of the lap, on board was the Racing Bulls of El Prat. This is the final week, as it's a major lock-up into the final corner of the racetrack, and then towards the 2 flat-out corners. What will our benchmark be here today? It is a 128.792. So, over to Craig Conley in the McLaren, a man who could potentially take the lead of the World Championship after today. He crosses the line, smashes it with a 26.6. Over to Ollie Bean in the Aston Martin, on board with the green machine, coming towards the line now. Ollie Bean will take original pole. Will he? No, he won't. Just under 0.2 of a second from the fastest time we've seen so far. James in the Haas, the other Haas in the pit lane. James crosses the line, goes 3rd fastest at 27.7. Then over to the other Aston Martin of Ellis. Ellis will cross the line now and is good enough for P3. Aston Martin split by 0.7 of a second, but currently sat 2nd and 3rd. Over to the man who over to the opening race winner of the season, the man who got his maiden win in round 1, the man who was leading the championship after round 1. Currently sat 3rd in the World Championship. He's got a very high chance to take 2nd in that World Championship after today, due to Zampa not being here. Scones coming towards the line. The Williams will cross the line and will go up into the top 3 there, just over 0.101 ahead of Ellis. Sloskan about to begin a lap. Then the Sauber making his way out of the final corner, gets it stopped nicely when in comparison to El Prat in the Racing Bulls. Making his way to the line. Does the Sauber go? And the Sauber will cross the line and go P3, just under 1/10 ahead of Scones. The other Racing Bulls of El Prat is coming into the box. And I think Jamaican Jam or Sluskan will actually be up next. Sluskan in the Mercedes, the man who got pole in the opening race of the season, was cruising to victory in Shanghai, made the wrong strategy call to come in for the slick tyres, which basically gifted the win to Scones. If he didn't stop, if he didn't box, he probably would have won by probably like 40 seconds, considering how much Sluskan was in control of the Miami, or of the Chinese Grand Prix. Through the Mickey Mouse section, we now go on board with the Mercedes close to the track limits there. You need to hug the walls to make sure you can open up every single corner. Be careful with that inside wall. You can definitely cut that a lot more if you are careful. Through the final corner of the Mickey Mouse section, then along back straight towards the final braking zone of the racetrack. There is a slow-moving Scuderia Ferrari, and that is Davide Farrow, the man who got pole last time out, and that is his only point of the season so far. Is the man who was on pole 1 week ago. Let's buy the man who was on pole 2 weeks ago. The two previous pole sitters are in the same picture. We watch from the rear of Sluskan as he makes his way towards the line to probably take provisional pole as he crosses the line now, and he does take provisional pole by 900ths of a second over to your man who won 1 week ago. Jamaican Jam now over the line, and he goes third fastest, 2/10 to the millisecond away from provisional pole position. Then it's going to be Quincy in the other McLaren. The one McLaren currently sat provisionally on the front row. Where can Quincy put the other McLaren over the line now? And he goes fifth fastest, 7/10 away from the provisional pole time, over to the Season 4 Tier 1 champion, Davide Farrow, on the exit of the final corner at turn number 1. DRS is now enabled to make our way down this straight towards one of a very few heavy braking zones in this Miami circuit. We then enter the Mickey Mouse section now, and Davide Farrow tagging the inside wall as we stay on board with the Scuderia Ferrari. Will he tag that inside wall? Gets very close to it, but that's what you need to do to find a lap time around here. The man who's deputising on wheel in this season dropped down to the second tier to be able to compete is with the other drivers in the lower tier due to a halt in pace because he's transitioned into a whole new rig because of the fact he was in bottom pad for so long. He transitioned to wheels as a major rear locking into the wall. Goes the Scuderia Ferrari, and that is another lap in the bin for the Ferrari driver. He will now peel it into the box, and once again more front wing damages. What has happened here? Jamaican Jam is off at the final corner of the racetrack. So I believe El Prat is actually going again. He's the only man currently on a lap as El Prat makes his way through the first couple of corners here. You saw Verstappen and Norris almost collide here. You saw Kevin Magnussen and Logan Sargent. They actually did collide here in the 2024 Miami Grand Prix. That is what gifted Loris his first win, or the chance to get his first win, and El Prat once again invalidates his time. How is everyone today that is watching? If anyone does want to speak in chat, how are we all doing today? Currently got 13 people watching. If you've just joined, we are here for the WHF Round 3 Tier 2. This time it's for the Miami Grand Prix, as Ollie Bean has just begun his second lap in qualifying. Currently 2.7 tenths away from the provisional pole time, 700ths away from the P3 time. Many places can be gained, as Ollie Bean's now invalidated as well. So now we'll watch Craig Conley. Will Craig Conley be the next driver to invalidate, making his way through the newly laser scanned circuit of the Miami Grand Prix on the exit of this long left-hander, and he's already 2/10 up on his personal best. That's already good enough to take provisional pole, but considering the amount he found in the first sector, surely is going to be at least another 10th throughout the rest of the lap. Braking now in that Chrome Papaya McLaren, whatever you want to call it really. Through the Mickey Mouse section we go now. Craig Conley lighting the rears as he stands on the power. Through the Mickey Mouse section, how close do you dare to get to the wall? That's basically how close you do want to get. Through the left-hander, then towards the back straight, stand on the power, use all the battery, down towards the final braking zone, who get a very distant tow from the Aston Martin ahead of him. At the end of the middle of the sector, I didn't actually see the amount he was up by. Good evening, Lanky. Matt Lanky, the the Mercedes driver, currently sat P14 with no time on the board. I don't actually know if he has a quality ban or not. As we watch Craig Conley, the McLaren to the top of the timing page with a 26.325. The McLaren does take provisional pole over to James in the other Haas. The Haas crosses the line now and goes up to P5 with a 27.0. We now watch maybe, wait, I don't actually know who to watch. Sluskan is beginning lap, so is Arrow as well. But is anyone else? Aaron, the man set, the championship leader, my god. Completely forgot about that. The championship leader in the Red Bull Racing car crosses the line now and can only go into the top 7 there. Basically a second away from the pole position time as El Prat. Finally, a clean lap on the board, but where will it put him? El Prat crosses the line now for the Racing Bulls and will stay slowest overall, as Arrow has invalidated his time. What about Andre in the Racing Bulls? There is an Alpine making its way to the line. I think that's Jamaican Jam to begin a lap, as Quincy as well is beginning a lap, and then there's the Williams of Scones beginning a lap as well. So it is Andre up next in the other Racing Bulls. One currently sat slowest overall. And this is the man that doesn't use overtake on his laps. Andre making his way around the final 2 corners of the racetrack. Andre cuts the beam for his Racing Bulls and goes second slowest overall. Browns retires from the session, so he will be starting at the back. Sluskan will be up next for the Mercedes team. James, I believe, is going to peel into the pit lane. So Sluskan, the man on pole 2 weeks ago in the season opener, looking to make it a second pole of the year. Crossing the line now to go to provisional pole with a 26.1. Over to Ellis in the Aston Martin, who's into the pit lane. Then it's over to WF Arrow, who hasn't validated his time, but will be ongoing again for another lap. I feel it's Aaron, who is now peeling into the pit lane. Jamaican Jam is on an out lap, but he's using his battery, so I think he might actually be on another lap. Jamaican Jam will make his way towards the final corner of the racetrack. I'm unsure as he goes very, very deep on the brakes, and I'm going to presume that he's just going to peel into the pit lane, which he does. Over to Quincy in the dim of McLaren. Crossing the line now is a provisional pole for the McLaren. It's good enough for P3 at this current moment in time. What about the man who was the race winner 2 weeks ago? Scones, the former championship leader, over the line. Improves into the top 7. Over to the 2 Racing Bulls. Andre is pushing on again. Andre making his way towards the line now in the Racing Bulls. I don't actually know how long is left. I would like to see how long is left as Andre does peel into pit lane. On board was the Silver Arrow of Lanky, making his way towards the line now. Where can Lanky go? In the Mercedes, crossing the line now, and it goes just into the top 10. WF Arrow, the game says it's purple, but is it really purple? The Scarlet Ferrari, we saw him rear lock at this corner a couple minutes ago. 4 minutes 6 seconds left on the clock. He's much more careful on the brakes this time around, standing on the power on the exit at the final corner of the racetrack, powering towards the line at the Miami circuit. Over the line we go with Arrow, and it's good enough for 12th. 15 milliseconds behind Ellis, and I believe that is it for the next runs. Dub Z is actually on a outlap. Quincy isn't improving, neither is Scones, and then that's not Lanky, so it is Dub Z up first. Then it will be the Aston Martin drivers of Ellis and Ollie Bean. So, Dub Z, the second Scarlet Ferrari, teammates at 12th, over a second from pole. What can Dub Z do in the Ferrari, in the second Ferrari that is, of course, using the Monza 2025 livery, which makes the cars do actually look better. Let's get shooting for pole position. The final shootout has begun. It's either send it or do nothing. Yellow flags in the final sector of the track. That is for Arrow, who is going slowly, probably on low fuel mode. So his qualifying, I believe, is done. over to Dub Z we go. So one Ferrari done, the second Ferrari about to prepare. Or not preparing, he is actually going on. Doesn't that look absolutely epic through this section of racetrack? Slinging it in through the Hard Rock Stadium as we get on the power on the exit of the first sector. 29.899 at the end of the first sector. Drain the battery now down this long straight towards the heavy braking zone in sector 2. The first braking zone in sector 2. Dub Z now puts his Ferrari through. He's now into the Mickey Mouse section we go. Whiz the Scuderia Ferrari. Dub Z will make his way towards the uphill chicane. Will he hit the wall? Very tentative there to turn in. Yellow flags ahead for a slow moving Williams, I believe, as the Red Bull pulling to the left hand side to let him through, but Dub Z's going to pick up a very minor toe here as we go down the straight. No battery left to use, so he's going to be losing time throughout the whole second part of the straight. Hitting the brakes for the final time in this qualifying session with Dub Z on a push lap, making his way towards the line, but no, he peels into the box, so Dub Z will not be setting the time. Over to Ellis in the Aston Martin. No, Ollie Bean will be up first, but he's invalidated, so actually it will be Ellis in the second Aston Martin. One Aston Martin in the shootout for pole, but will need a monumental effort. The second Aston Martin needs an even more monumental lap, needs a miracle if anything to try and take pole position. He's 3.5 tenths up, after to be nowhere near good enough, but it will be good enough to climb him a couple of positions. 3.5 tenths, that will probably put him around actually P7 maybe. Codematic retires as well, so Codematic, Browns and Dub Z will not be setting times. It's all to go for. Lanky and Arrow also in the pit lane. Those two 5 drivers not on the track at the current moment in time. Ellis will make his way towards the line. LTJ Ellis as the other Aston Martin is off. Ellis crosses the line and can only go into the top 9. What about the McLaren of Quincy? He's not on a lap. Ollie Bean is beginning a lap now. As there was also Jamaican Jan. It'll be the Racing Bulls of Andre, who is 8 tenths of a second up. Andre in the Racing Bulls makes his way towards the final corner of the racetrack. Overtake on through the whole corner. Never seen that before. As powering towards the line, the Racing Bulls will go, crossing the line, and will go into the top 7. Over to James in the Haas, crossing the line now, and doesn't improve his time. Championship leader up next. Aaron makes his way out of the final corner. The Red Bull will power towards the line. Oracle Red Bull Racing have only got one man racing today, but is the one man good enough for the pole? And it's only good enough for third fastest. Over to the Kick Sauber as there was a puncture there. The Sauber is 6.5 tenths up. One as a Mercedes peeling into pit lane. The Sauber across the line goes into the top 5. What about the other Racing Bulls of El Prat making his way towards the line? El Prat crosses the line, only goes into the top 10. Does the Racing Bull. Sluskan is into the pit lane as Craig Conley is a 10th of a second down, making his way down the back straight towards the final corner of the racetrack. Is it going to be Sluskan, Craig Conley or Quincy on pole? What about Jamaican Jam? He keeps saying he's on outlaps as Craig Conley is using the battery towards the line. No, he peels into the box. So is it Quincy who can take it away? He's almost 3 tenths of a second up, close to the wall on the exit. The McLaren, one McLaren failed. The second McLaren is rivaling it, and the second McLaren will go to the front row. A 10th of a second away as Jamaican Jam using the battery. Can the Alpine roar to the top once more? He will not improve his time. It's only 6th on the grid, and I believe that is it done and dusted as Ellis is peeling into the pit lane, and it is Sluskan on pole. Didn't need an improvement. As maybe, is there anyone else? I don't believe so. It's Sluskan on pole, McLaren 2nd and 3rd, the championship leader in 4th, the Sauber 5th, Jamaican Jam in 6th, Ollie Bean 7th, James into pit lane. The last driver to take the flag is 8th on the grid. It's Sluskan on pole by a 10th of a second, and for the second time this season, Sluskan is on pole. Sluskan on pole, Ella Quincy And two Jamaicans actually in the top 6. Quincy second, Craig Conley third, Aaron fourth, DeSalba fifth, Jamaican Jam sixth, Ollie Bean seventh, James eighth, Andre ninth, El Pratt in 10th, Scones 11th, Ellis 12th, Lanky 13th, Arrow 14th, Kodematic 15th, Bram 16th, and Dub Z will round out your grid for the Miami Grand Prix. Ferrari 14th and 17th. Yikes. Roll on the Miami Grand Prix. So we've had two different pole sitters. Sluskarn's got his second pole of the season in Miami. We season opener in China. Sluskarn was on pole, and then Scones won. Last race last week, Arrow was on pole. The Jamaican Jam won this week again. Sluskarn's on pole, and for the second time, Sluskarn starts from it. And the Miami Grand Prix is 5 lights away. And the Miami Grand Prix is going. We're racing towards turn number 1. It seems to be a good start for Sluskan as we're going in towards turn number 1. And Sluskan leads from Quincy in the McLaren side by side between the championship leader and the Sauber. Around the first couple of corners we go. Yellow flags momentarily as Aaron has going side by side. Then towards the Mickey Mouse, the twist and turns. The second one we go. Craig Connolly ahead of James. A little tap in the rear there by the Aston Martin as we're going through the first sequence of corners. What's happened here in the background? Ride's gone Ellis in the Aston Martin as we're on board with Codematic in the Haas going side by side with El Prat. Now down the long bash we go. El Prat losing places hand over fifth. WHF average gone from 14 to 12. Decent start from the Ferrari driver as the second Ferrari is looking to go into combat as well. Down the straight we go towards the heavy braking zone in sector 2. The first braking zone in sector 2. Under braking in sector 2 now, as side by side between the Aston Martin and the Ferrari. Round goes the Racing Bulls. Arrow makes up another place as Ellis is now in a Ferrari sandwich. It's Codematic trying to have a look in Jamaican Jam. He's had quite the horrendous start, losing 3 places. Brams made up 8 places on the race start. Brams absolutely flying in that Williams car, but Owl in front. Similar story in China. Sluskan's almost got a 1 second lead already as around the final corner of the racetrack we go. Here's your tyres for you then. Every single tyre command has been used. As what's happened to Quincy. Quincy's had a moment and through goes the Kick Sauber on the final corner. Moment for Quincy, and the Sauber says thank you very much as the Red Bull on the hard compound tyres is not being able to make a move. As side by side we go with Craig Conley. Now James and Ollie Bean going side by side, and Ollie Bean in the Aston Martin makes up a place on the Haas. Now Brams and the Williams looking to make up a 9th place in the opening phase of this Grand Prix as towards the twists and turns of sector 1 we go, and Brams has to settle in down behind for PA in this race. But out in front, the Sauber's got a gap of 7/10 to Quincy. Sluskan absolutely checking out on this race already, but down the long straight we go. Maybe a range of different battery use to be able to try and reel your rival in. Towards the next braking zone we go, and Aaron is getting close. The 2 Ferraris also getting a bit close as well. Ellis has dropped out of DRS from the 2 Ferraris. Scones, the man third in the World Championship, down all the way in P14. We're watching the man who leads the championship, the man who is looking to extend his margin ahead of the rest. No Zampa, and then the man who's closest to him after Zampa is currently down all the way in P14. It's a lovely start if you're concerning Aaron's phase of this World Championship. Down the straight we go towards the final corner, and the Sauber starting to maybe reel in the Mercedes, and under braking we go. Side by side at the back between Codematic and Jamaican Jam. Jamaican Jam loses another place and has already got a 3-second time penalty for track limits there. WHF Arrow will now maybe try and make a move into turn number 1, or will he just try and save that battery pack as we hit the brakes and towards turn number 1 we're about to approach, and then we hit the brakes into turn number 1 now on lap 3 of 29. Out in front, the gap is closing in as what's happened to Sluskan, the man who was on pole. Sluskan is round, the Mercedes is round, and the man who started on pole for the 2nd time this season is probably not going to convert his pole into a win. There's damage on the front wing, and the Mercedes has gone from 1st to 14th in a matter of meters. What has happened to Sluskan, as now this is the fight for the lead on board with Quincy. The McLaren, who had a half spin out the final corner, is now looking to take the lead of the Miami Grand Prix. Quincy goes through past the Sauber and to go into the lead of the Miami Grand Prix. McLaren 1st and 4th now. There's Ferrari as well, starting to rise through the order as well. Sluskan, the pole sitter, now down into P15 side by side with the Racing Bulls. What's happened now to Jamaican Jam? Yes, Jamaican Jam's now losing places as well. He's down into 12th. The 2 people who seem 2 drivers who you could have classed as favourites to win this race having a horror time. Sluskan down in 15th, Jamaican Jam down in 12th, as the whole field is at least within DRS of each other, apart from Brams and James, as there goes Brams into the top 6 now. The man who started all the way down in P16, I believe. Let's have a quick look at P16, yeah. P16, already P6 by the end of lap number 3 onto lap 4. Craig Conley's almost lost DRS as well. Let's have a look at the tyres once again so we can remind you. Craig Conley on the hard compound tyres, along with Aaron and Ollie Bean, as well as James, and then the rest on the medium compound tyres, apart from Dub Z, who went bold for the soft tyres, probably confirming he's on a 2-stop strategy here. Out in front, no. Aaron on those hard compound tyres will be loving life. Has a little sniff on the inside. That will now unsettle his car on the exit. Then he will lose a bit of time. But now we go down this long straight, and the Sauber's draining his battery. But so is the McLaren. The Sauber has got pretty much no ERS left as we hit the brakes in towards the heavy braking zone, in the first braking zone of Sector 2, side by side between Jamaican Jam and Ellis, and Jamaican Jam is through as there is the two Silver Arrows, 15th and 16th. These two were 1-2 in China before the pit stop brigade and the strategy fumble. They're now 15th and 16th. What has happened to the Silver Arrows form since the midpoint of the Chinese Grand Prix? Down the straight we go, and the Sauber is gaining on the McLaren. On board with the Sauber, he will have slipstream, he will have DRS, he won't really have any ERS, will he? Has a little look to the inside, as here is Brams. He's making have a little look down the inside, goes Ollie Bean, and so does Brams. Ollie Bean makes it move on the McLaren. Craig Conley loses 2 places now, and now it's Brams' turn to try and make 2 places. It cuts the track sheet. Oh, that's questionable. Brams cuts the track, has the inside line. He's diving down the inside at turn 1, and Brams makes the move after cutting the inside of the final corner. But back comes Ollie Beam as the old switcheroo, and Ollie Beam roars back through on the hard compound tyres. He does get back past, and now this is inviting James, as well as happened to the Ferrari of Arrow. Arrow's round, and the Ferrari has had a spin. Is a collision as into the wall he goes, and now he has front wing damage. The Ferrari having more dreadful luck in the season so far. Spun in China on numerous occasions, spun in Qatar, and now he's spun again in Miami. 3 races with 3 spins, and probably due to no fault of his own, apart from the Qatar one, as Sauber has almost lost the DRS to Quincy in the McLaren. Side by side we go. Craig Conley now probably not happy with the move that Brown's made. Contact between the pair of them. Now side by side in towards the chicane we go. Watching from the rear, in the wall goes Brams, but no damage for the Williams driver. Around this left-hander we go now. Now this will open the door for Brams to use his battery and his ERS, and the DRS. He will have everything to his power, as here into the final corner we go. The championship leader makes a move as Brams is gaining on the McLaren into the final corner of the racetrack. Diving on the inside, Brams will go, and he will make the move on the McLaren, but the McLaren will hold it out around the outside. Now we go side by side in the final corner. Now it is Craig Conley's turn with the ERS. He's got the DRS, and now he's gaining on the Williams. He's gaining on the Williams and pulls out to the inside, and back goes the McLaren into the top 5 there, but Browns will hang this out around the outside, and Craig Conley bails out of the fight, and Craig Conley concedes the place, as now here comes James in the house to maybe have a little look, but isn't close enough to make do, as Aaron, the championship leader, is looking to get to P1. He's almost within DRS of Quincy, the race leader, who inherited the lead after overtaking the Sauber after Sluskan's bottle. He has somehow just picked up some DRS there. If you've just joined in, welcome. You're here in Tier 2, Round 3, WHF Miami. Pole sitter Sluskan had a spin on the exit of turn number 3. That handed the lead to the Sauber, who's currently running now in P3. Quincy then retook the lead as side by side we went momentarily with Ellis and Lanky. And Ellis has conceded the place. No, Lanky has conceded the place, I believe. That's the first time I've ever seen that camera be used. Out in front, no. The race leaders split by half a second. The Sauber has literally no battery left. He's fallen out of race leading contention. Arrow in the Ferrari, as Dubsy has actually now pitted for a fresh set of hard compound tyres. Those soft tyres only lasting 5 laps. Aaron on the rear of Quincy, the Red Bull Racing driver, looking to extend his championship lead. Zampa not here. Scones 13th. Dubsy 16th. Craig Conley down in 6th. Jamaican Jam down in 9th. Sluskan down in 14th. Ollie Bean down in 4th with a 3-second time penalty for track limits. Cody Matic down in 8th. Brams down in P5. That's all the other drivers within 12 points of each other. The top 10 split by 12 points. And Aaron is the only one of them doing well. You could consider that Ollie Bean's doing well. But Aaron is gaining on the McLaren. He's going to look to the inside, is he? But maybe just lifts off to try and save some more ERS. Through the Mickey Mouse section we go now, maybe trying to man a move, but wide goes the McLaren and Randy outside. The Red Bull will roar, and the Red Bulls have bowled on by to take the lead in the Miami Grand Prix. Aaron is through ahead of Quincy, and Quincy has now conceded the lead, but now could Quincy, with a full ERS store, now come back at the Red Bull. He's got ERS, he's got plenty of it. Watch him from the rear of the Red Bull. Down the back straight we go towards the final braking zone of the racetrack. Aaron is going to be put under pressure by the McLaren. The McLaren pulls out to the inside, and the McLaren can roar back on by to the lead of the Miami Grand Prix. Aaron going to try the old switcheroo out of the final corner. We stand on the power going down the main straight. Aaron has got no battery left, and there is plenty of ERS left for Quincy to keep the lead of the Miami Grand Prix. The McLaren went tactical, maybe going wide on purpose, so he knew that he would be able to retake the lead. He then retook the lead to the final corner, and this battle is going to continue for at least another lap, as Quincy now has a 0.6 of a second advantage into the twists and turns of Sector 1, as there goes James and Craig Conley swapping around. James in the Haas. In Haas's home race, one of 3 home races for the Haas team, makes up another place, and James up in the 6th, now trying to hunt down Brams for 5th. That's wide, very wide, but Craig Conley there, maybe a tactical line to then get on the power. Back to the race leaders though. Aaron draining the battery. He's gaining on the McLaren. He's gaining on the McLaren, and for the second time, he's to the inside to take the lead in the Miami Grand Prix. But back will come Quincy then. Would it be exactly a copy and paste of last lap, where Quincy gave up the lead in this section and then retook the lead in the next section? I don't know what Aaron's doing, going very slowly, allowing the Sauber back into it. On the power on the exit of the second to last braking zone, standing on the power. Down the back straight we go for the second time with these two in this order. Aaron is now under pressure from the McLaren as towards the inside. The McLaren will go, and for the second time this evening, the McLaren will go to the inside on the Red Bull and will retake the lead. But for the second time running, he tries the up and under, and watching from the rear of the McLaren, the Red Bull just needs to save a bit of battery, needs to sit behind for a lap or so to recharge that battery pack to be able to properly attack him, as Aaron once again has conceded the place in the final corner and then had nothing to do in the turn 1 as Jamaican Jam a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, lap 9, and he's only done 8 laps on those medium compound tyres. He's on for a set of the hard compound tyres, same with Ellis as well. Little bit of a moment there for Quincy, as Aaron just needs to really just sit behind him, put the battery in none. You're not going to lose time because you've got the DRS. Just put it in none. And I think he's listening to this. Just put it in none. Play the patient game. Wait for the back straight. Aaron's looking to the inside, and for the 3rd time in succession to the hat-trick of moves in this corner. If he can make it stick, and Aaron is through for the 3rd time, and Aaron in the Red Bull, the championship leader, not playing patient here, and Aaron into the lead once more. But through the chicane we go, on board with the McLaren driver. Once again, it's so much more battery for the McLaren driver. We stand on the power, but Aaron has got a much more of an advantage now, and has got a decent more amount of battery. As down the back straight we go, Aaron just completely draining that battery to 3%, and Quincy is not able to do anything, saving his battery on 67%. As Quincy is maybe actually diving into the pit lane now. He's not, but he's trying, maybe going tactical to save this battery and then come back at him. Brams on the inside, side by side between the final 2 corners of the racetrack. Brams on the outside, the Haas on the inside. Who's got DRS? I don't think any of them have got DRS. The Haas actually did have DRS. As on the inside, the Haas will go, and around the outside, Brams will go to 5th place if he can make it stick. But James is there to bowl on by, and the Haas driver saying thank you very much. I will take that back as a yellow flag's out. And what has happened out front? The top 2 have come together. We switch to it. Quincy and Aaron have come together, and for the 2nd time this evening, the lead has been gifted to the Kick Sauber, but Ollie Bean is probably going to take that straight back away. Ollie Bean is now to the inside of the Sauber, and Ollie Bean to the lead of the Miami Grand Prix. Sauber up in the second, James up in the third, Brams coming back at the Haas as Randy outside, Brams will go, the Haas will dive on the inside, lock up by Brams, as now Craig Conley is also ahead of Aaron, and Aaron down into 6th, Quincy down into 7th, the top two who were cruising out front have come together in the S section, and there is another moment for the McLaren of Craig Conley that is that time. I don't really like that camera, to be honest. Out in front though, this has opened the door for Ollie Bean to potentially get a win this season. Sauber have got a chance to get a win this season. On the inside, Brams goes really deep though and allows the Haas back through, and for the second time this race into the pit lane goes Brams. I'm going to say for the second time, as here we go, look at this, Aaron and Quincy, Aaron on the hard tyres into pit lane already. Hard tyres for the McLaren you saw there. Hard tyres again for the Red Bull driver. So he undoubtedly is on a two-stop strategy out in front. I think maybe Aaron didn't need a front wing change. Quincy might have needed a front wing change. Cody Matic as well. A whole round of pit stops here. Jamaican Jams actually undercut a lot of them. No, Brams just gets out ahead, and that is race crucial. Look at that. Aaron just behind Jamaican Jam, just behind Jamaican Jam. Brams on medium compound tyres though. Two-slot strategy for Brams. So far though, the bug which we saw was when Ferrari pit, they'd only skip a lap ahead. Nothing's happened yet, which is really good in terms of the race, because this race has been very exciting so far. A little moment there for Craig Conley trying to hunt down James for the final podium position. I'm going to presume this top four are on the one stop, as the Sauber has got absolutely no ERS left. Tyres actually look in okay conditions. The man who was the championship leader 2 weeks ago, currently sat down in P7. Into the pit lane comes Craig for a set of the medium compound tyres. Wow. 2 stops for them. Into the pit lane comes Lanky. This will probably be for a set of the hard compound tyres. 11 laps on them. So you'd expect him to go to the end now, really. Back in the battle, what's happened there? I think always new content. Jamaican Jam, Luke costing Aaron so much time. The championship leader after colliding with Quincy, as Andre and Craig Conley going side by side towards the S's, and no movement being done there between the pair of them. Craig Conley, who had just exited the pit lane on those medium compound tyres. Yellow flags out for WJ Arrow, who has had his second spin of the day in the Miami circuit, as Ollie Bean continues to lead out front by 2.3 seconds ahead of the Kick Sauber. Then here comes James in the Haas driver. As I say that, the Sauber now picks up a 3-second time penalty for track limits, so it's game on at the front of the field, because all three of the top three have got 3-second time penalties. Sluskan, who is still out on his old medium compound tyres, the same set he spun the car on. Sluskan making his way down the long straight, as Quincy and Cody Matic going side by side at an unusual part of the circuit. As side by side we go with Quincy and Cody Matic. Position change as into the pits comes the Sauber. Quincy pulls out to the inside, looking to make a move on Cody Matic. These two on the exact same tyre life, side by side in the final corner of the racetrack. The McLaren on the inside, the Haas on the outside. We go all banging between the pair of them. Standing on the power on the exit of the corner is into the pit lane. Cody Matic looks to go, but then doesn't go for it. Cody Matic will try and defend, but now he is looking behind him as Andre trying to have a look as well. Craig Conley onto a set, the Sauber onto a set of the hard compound tyres. Where does he come out in comparison to this? Just behind that train, which I think he will actually be quite happy for, because then he will get DRS and be able to get these tyres up to speed in a careful manner. Quincy now round the final corner of Sector 2. Quincy now on the rear of Jamaican Jam. Jamaican Jam using ERS as well. Despite the fact he's fed in the pit lane, he still wants to compete with these guys. I think Quincy realised that a long time ago. He turned off his battery pack. As Jamaican Jam went a bit wide there. Sauber, very wide, went to Sauber there, showing the elbow to the McLaren as the Sauber improves ahead of Craig Conley. The Sauber in race winning contention today. Maybe Quincy's actually going to the end as well. It was a very good stint by the Sauber to do 12 laps on the medium compound tyres. Towards the front though, Brams looking for the outside line. Dub Z is defended. Ollie Bean in pit lane. He's going for the two-stop as that is a lovely up and under if he can make it stick. Contact between the front tyre and the front wing as now towards turn number 1 we go. On board with the Williams driver. Will we see a lunge to the inside? Ollie Bean might have just thrown away the race win going for the two-stop strategy. Brams has to say tucked up behind Dub Z, who is your net race leader, who stopped on lap number 5. Has got Brams all over the rear of himself. Dub Z might have actually been able to put himself into race winning contention, but if he could chuck on another set of the hard compound tyres sooner rather than later, he might be able to pick up a few extra places. James though is the Haas maybe going to go for the one stop, the only driver who is trying to make the reverse strategy work from hard to mediums. Brams now looking for a move on the Ferrari. He wheels out to the outside, and around the outside the Williams will go to second place in the race. The lead driver on the two-stop strategy, 3.5 seconds ahead of the championship leader Aaron, who's got himself back up into 4th, and he might actually be on the one-stop strategy, considering the fact that, you know, he started hard, didn't he? Yeah, he started hard. I stand corrected. So he's on the two-stop strategy. Aaron will have to box again. James has absolutely no ERS left, as Ollie Bean is looking to be next up on Jamaican Jam's list of who will pass him. We're going down the back straight, and he's not close enough to make a move. Little bit of a lift there as James now pits as well, so no one being able to make the reverse strategy work. Look how slow Jamaican Jam was on the exit of the corner. Ollie Bean shoving the Alpine through, continues to hit the rear as towards turn 1 we go, and Ollie Bean is through into 5th place as James will rejoin this race down in P11. P12 be close with the Mercedes on the exit. Side by side between the pair of them, and James comes out just in front of Lanky in the Mercedes. So out in front, Brams leads by 1.2 seconds ahead of Dub Z in the Ferrari, the man who started from last, I believe, if I'm not wrong. The man, yeah, started from P17. These two started together in 16th and 17th, and they are now currently 1 and 2. It would be a historic win if Dub Z could win from last. It's also a historic win if Brams could win from P16 on the grid. History can now be made as there we go with Jamaican Jam on the inside of Ollie Bean. These two going back at it once again. Ollie Bean as the inside line. Around the outside, Jamaican Jam will try and hold this. Ollie Bean finally gets the move done, and Ollie Bean can now set his sights on Quincy in the McLaren. Round the left hand, there we go. Get on the power as quick as you can. Will you be able to get the DRS? Only just. I think he's just about got the DRS. Yes, he has. So, Dub Z regaining time on Brams now as well. Under braking around the final corner of the racetrack we go. Does Dub Z experience the battery? Is Aaron running outside with Quincy? These two who collide in sector 1 a couple laps to go are dueling in the final sector on this occasion. Side by side we go between the pair of them on this occasion. Absolutely level ERS. Towards turn 1 we go. Down the inside, Quincy will go, around the outside, Aaron will go. On board with the McLaren, they're still keeping it side by side. And Aaron forcing the red McLaren wide. And Aaron having absolutely none of it. Maybe making a statement there, considering the fact that what has happened. Brams has pitted, sorry, I don't even know. It's that Dub Z lead. Sorry, I caught my attention for a moment now. Dub Z had retaken the lead. Surprised me how early he's gone, though. Either way, Quincy being forced off the road, probably Aaron saying, look what you've done to us, we were cruising out front and now you've put us back here with the rest of the field. Now here comes Ollie Bean, he's on the inside, almost making contact, side by side between the McLaren and the Aston Martin. He's leaving room to see if the McLaren wants to make it free wide. He will make it free wide under braking. Down the inside, Ollie Bean will go. Aaron loses 2 places. Ollie Bean is made up 2 places. Quincy's basically kept position as side by side we went, and side by side they did go. And Ollie Bean went brave, went bold, and Quincy made up a place on Aaron, lost one to Ollie Bean. Ollie Bean went bold for 2 and went and went and got them both. But now, is it going to be what Quincy did to Aaron on 2 occasions previously? Side by side towards the final corner of the racetrack. The McLaren pulls out to the inside line, and side by side towards the final corner of the racetrack. Second place is up for grabs here on the road. As round the final corner of the racetrack we go. On board with the Aston Martin, watching from the rear. Yellow flags out back for Craig Conley, who spun. But towards turn number 1 we go. Ollie Bean, as the McLaren is diving down the inside at turn number 1, and the McLaren's on the inside. As side by side through 2, and Quincy has to bail out of it. Quincy has to give up the position, as that's going to help Dub Z out front, who is probably trying to extend his margin to be able to. There is a track limit warning for him. As wide he goes, and this is where these two make contact a couple laps to go. And this time they're side by side, but Aaron bails out of it. And Aaron is behind him, now taking that wide line to maybe get the better exit. Jamaican Jam having a little sniff as the McLaren driver, I believe, has just lost DRS to Ollie Bean. Down the straight we go towards the heavy braking zone in sector 2. Aaron pulls out to the inside. Goes Quincy going to fight this one? Down the inside Aaron will go, and Quincy will not fight this one. Quincy will back out of it, and the championship leader back up into the top 3 in the Miami Grand Prix. Dub Z, I'm going to expect he's going to come into the pit lane very shortly, as Brams is almost caught up to the rear of Craig Conley in the McLaren. Driver is there is a moment for the Sauber, who now gives up a place to James. The Sauber lost out as James gained. They've got the exact same battery as towards the final corner of the racetrack we go, and now Sauber is not close enough to make a move. Out in front though, Dub Z is now pitting. So, perfect choice on when to pit as he now dives into the pit lane. And I'm going to guess it's for a set of the hard compound tyres. It is for the hards. I think that's the right call, you know. You can properly push to the end now. But where does he come out? He comes out quite the way behind Browns. Coming up behind Scones, behind Sloskan, who is on the one-stop strategy. He will come out down in 13th, but he will have the freshest tyres to the end, apart from obviously when the rest do decide to peel into the pit lane. Resume the squabble between these two. These two have been dueling since the lights went out. They dueled too hard. They came together in the final in the S section, as Quincy is gaining on the Red Bull. Has a little look, but isn't close enough to do anything, as under braking we go. Quincy is all up on the rear. Yellow flags are out for the Racing Bulls of El Prat. Quincy making his way around the left-hander. We stand on the power and the exit of the corner. Ollie Bean still trying to continue his gap out front, as Quincy is using the battery, gaining on Aaron. Not close enough, but James is close enough, and he's pulling to the inside. He's got no battery left. These two are going side by side in towards the final corner of the racetrack we go. Wheel banger between the pair of them. We stand on the power on the exit of the corner, and Jamaican Jam will bail out of that fight and will come into the pit lane. And we've got to remember the Sauber here on the one-stop strategy. 6 laps done already in those tyres with 11 laps to go. He's going to be doing 17 laps on the hard compound tyre, as these two still getting very, very close. Lap 19 at 29. The race is absolutely zipping on by today in Miami. As round goes Aaron, the Red Bull. What has happened there? The Red Bull was spun on his own, touching that inside curb, and the Red Bull is round. The championship leader throwing away precious points will lose out to James, to the Sauber, to Code Matic, or will he? Side by side they go, and now Lanky is looking on the championship leader. The championship leader tumbling down the order, looking to cruise for an easy 20 odd points, but now is under pressure from Brams, from the Mercedes. They're going 3 wide down the straight towards the next braking zone. 3 wide. Aaron will back out of it, or will he? No, they won't, and they're 3 abreast. 3 into 2, 3 into 1 don't go. They're still locking tyres, and Brams finally gets the move done. Round the outside, Lanky will try. Lanky comes off worst out of all that. El Prat has retired in the pit lane, our first DNF of the day, as Arrow will not be finishing last today, at least for his sake. Sauer makes his way with absolutely no battery left. Needs to learn to recharge that battery pack, really. As here comes Brown. He's gaining on Code Matic. Will we see a dive to the inside. No, we will not. El Prat has left the session because he is retired from the race. As out of the final corner we go now. Brams on the two-stop strategy. Hasn't really got that much of a gap between himself and the Sauber. As towards turn number 1 we go. Brams to the inside to take for 5th place in the race. Yellow flags. What's happened between Scones and Sloskan? Scones and Sloskan are off. And Sloskan went to going to the pit lane. Or look to try and find a way into the pit lane. Realise there's a wall there. And you can't drive through a barrier. Sloskan, the pole sitter, collided with the man who won last time Sloskan was on pole. I don't think Scones will be winning today. Edit picks up a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. He will drop, he will actually stay in P15. Andre and Craig Conley make up a place as well, as Sloskan has got major front wing damage now. Scones has had a collision with the pole sitter. There's a minor lockup for Quincy. Ollie Bean might be into pit lane very, very soon, as this race has been full of incidents, really, considering only the single DNF. There has been many incidents in this Miami Grand Prix so far. Aaron and Lanky going side by side now, as Aaron cuts the chicane, losing another place. Is the Red Bull driver, has got left end plate damage. Oh, I've missed a couple of chats here. Great. Oh, I completely missed that, as Aaron is through on Lanky. Into pit lane comes Quincy, looking to undercut Ollie Bean. So it is now. Actually, it always was really. The Sauber is your net race leader, considering these two do pit again. 8 laps done on those hard compound tyres, but Brams is trying to roar to be able to win this race. He's got the penalty, but he's on the 2-stop and he's got the fresher tyres and should be able to go, or I say should be able to, will be able to go to the end. Sloskan has a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Second race from pole, and it's the second race which he's not going to convert from pole. The Mercedes driver, through every fault of his own, spun at turn 3 in the opening phases of the Grand Prix and basically gave it all up. The Sauber is gaining on James in the Haas in these dying medium compound tyres. Brams almost within DRS of the Sauber. That's on the power. On the exit on the left, how do we go? Has he got DRS? No. Side by side we go with Dubsy and Lanky. Dubsy is through into 6th on 3-lap old hard compound tyres. Doing quite well for himself is Dubsy, as they continue to duel. Mercedes v Ferrari. Into the pit lane comes Ollie Bean. So James will overtake into the lead of the Miami Grand Prix. Dubsy will now go up into the top 5 from last on the grid. Side by side with Lanky they go. Side by side through 1. Side by side through 2. And Dubsy will roar around the outside to keep 5th place. Or actually make 5th place his own. The Sauber really struggling for pace here, as Brams with 6-7% battery gets all the power on the exit of the long left-hander. Down the straight we go. Brams is gaining. The Sauber's got nothing left to fight with. This is for potential net race lead, unless James is somehow going to go to the end. Brams will pull out to the outside. Side by side we go with the Sauber and the Williams, and the Williams is through into the top 2 now. Excuse me. Ollie Bean making a move on Quincy there. The Aston Martin makes quick work of the one-time race leader. Arrow now ahead of Sloskan, down in P15. Down the straight we go. Brams is using everything that he's got left. James has nothing left. Down towards the final braking zone of the racetrack on lap 22. For the 22nd time we hit the brakes at this corner. But the top 3 are within DRS of each other. When does James opt to pit? Not yet. He might actually be trying to go to the end. He's only got 8 laps done so far. Yellow flag is out for the championship leader again. Torrid day for Aaron, as Cody Matic a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Hello, Zampa. Welcome in. You've missed an absolute blinder of a race so far. Many collisions from the drivers out front, as Brams is now all over the rear of James. This is our newest top two. As it stands at this current moment in time, Dub Z, I think. Yeah, I think Dub Z, or at the minute it's either Dub Z or Brams, set to take the championship lead. Side by side for the race lead. Brams moves to the race lead and will probably start to sail off into the distance now and look set to take the Miami Grand Prix for his own, as Ollie Bean makes up another place. Well, actually, no, this is once again swapping with Quincy. Zampa, you're here. You know WHF. What's the point system again? With the Haas driver making his way towards the final corner of the racetrack, and the Haas driver will not be close enough at this current moment in time. Haven't got a clear bit. I know it goes to 16th. Arrow 3-second penalty for track limits. I think I've actually got it written down somewhere. Let me go grab my book as well. But towards turn one we go once again. James still going on as well. As towards turn one we go. Where is my WHF book? There it is. It's not my WHF book. Where I'm sure I wrote the point system down. Ollie Bean close to the rear of Quincy. This is going to annoy me, because I'm sure I wrote it down. But anyway, Ollie Bean close to the rear of Quincy, losing a bit of time here. That's EXA, WHF. Here we go. I found my point system. What happened to Arrow? Arrow had... Well, I don't actually know what happened. The first spin we cut to him, he was in the pack with others, so it might have been a collision, but then he had another spin on his own, and basically it's just another torrid race for Arrow. Point system then, so I really just want the top 5, to be honest. But actually, let's go have a look at this little squabble here. Lanky is under pressure from the McLaren, watching from the rear of the Mercedes. Through goes the McLaren driver into 5th place in the race, as Ollie Bean will have a little look and diving down the inside, locking the rears. Has a little look, and instead of a little look, it's a monumental look. We stand on the power, touching the curb, side by side through the final corner. Now it's to bail out of it, Ollie Bean, as Quincy sets the fastest lap of this race. As it stands at the moment, Dubsy will finish 4th and Brams will win the Miami Grand Prix. As it stands at the moment, I think Brams is actually set to take the championship lead. I'm glad I got so 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. So as it stands at the moment, 6 points for Aaron, but he's got a 10-second penalty. So yeah, it's basically going to be championship lead for Brams, if I'm not mistaken. So Ollie Bean now knows that he has to make the move. The Saubers finally got past the Haas driver. As side by side we go with Ollie Bean and Lanky. Lanky through. Ollie Bean through. Lanky down into 7th. Ollie Bean was the 3-second time penalty. I might actually come back to bite him. So James is gaining on the rear of the Ferrari. The yellow flags out for the Ferrari of Arrow again. He's improving. It's only spin number 3 today. Into the pit lane finally comes the Haas. Went a bit long. That puts Dubsy up into 3rd. Ollie Beam is another 3-second penalty. So that's going to be giving... Well, now it's going to be Quincy on the podium. Dubsy will go to 4th. But, as it stands at the moment, we have a new championship leader. And it will be Brams when the checkered flag is waving. 4 laps remaining of this Miami Grand Prix. The race has died down a bit now since the mid-race skirmishes as Craig Conley, as on the soft tyre, James is right there with Craig Conley and Cody Matic. James should make easy work really of these guys. Might get caught out by the amount of grip he's got. He might now try and think of a dive to the inside. Down the inside, James will go. Almost contact. There is contact. Cuts the corner. Lets Craig Conley back by. So, no harm done there. But now, once again, watching from the rear of Craig Conley. He's under pressure from the Haas of James. He's in the Haas sandwich as Craig Conley will defend the inside. He's unsure what way to go as almost swiping the Haas driver. He is swiping the Haas driver. Craig Conley making contact with the Haas. I don't really know what Craig was doing there as he's just driving into the Haas driver. Craig, why? That's just stuff you don't want to see in league racing. You don't want to see drivers purposely intending to drive into others. Lunatic. I think that's the only way you can describe it. I don't understand it. Craig, I don't understand. Craig, mate. It's so poor. Andre Blanky's actually pitted as well now. I don't understand. It's so poor. Full respect to James for not losing his head and just absolutely barging him out of the way. But I don't understand it. Change the position for the podium places. Quincy has got through on Dub Z. But I want to look what's going to happen here. What will Craig Conley going to do next in comparison to this fight? These two are going to go side by side once again on the third to last lap. James is probably really frustrated right now, but you can't really blame him. Pulls out to the inside. Craig Conley is on the outside line as side by side they go, and Craig Conley does concede the place, but I'm going to expect there's going to be penalties from the stewards after what I've just witnessed. Really poor driving from Craig. And it's just not what you want to see. That's actually Quincy. Is there a late race charge potentially? There could be a late race win charge, but on the cards here for Quincy. 2 laps to go at the Miami Grand Prix. 5.3 seconds split the top two. He needs to find 2 seconds in the final corner of the racetrack, and as I say that, the commentator's curse kicks in, and he loses 1 place, almost 2, as Dubsy has to take a voice in action. The commentator's curse does kick in, and Quincy got 2nd place, and probably could have got the win, but now that is done and dusted. Aaron with a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Yellow flags are out for Ellis, who's had a bit of a spin. And Arrow might actually be able to finish ahead of him now, considering that moment he's had. But side by side, we go with Quincy. Running outside, Quincy will go, and Quincy will take 2nd place once more. The McLaren driver finally gets 2nd place done, but massively locks up. Now the Sauber can have a look, but there's nothing to do, so very risky if you try to go side by side through here. 2.6 seconds is the gap out front when penalties are applied, as the Sauber now cuts the chicane. Didn't really slow down there. So, out front, Brams lead. The gap between Brams, who started this race, P10 in the World Championship. 5 points behind Dubsy, who was 4th. As it stands at the moment, 25 points are going Brams' way. And I've already lost my point. I've already forgot the points. Into the pit lane. Who boxed? Someone boxed. Ellis has pitted. We're on the final lap of this Miami Grand Prix. The race win is still undecided. If you've just joined us, you've joined us a bit late, but we're here in Miami, round number 3, and this could be our 3rd different race winner of the season. Round 1 was won by Scones in the other Williams. Round 2 was won by Jamaican Jam, who sat down in P11, and round 3 is either going to be Brams or Quincy. 1.3 seconds the gap will be if penalties are to be applied now. 1.2 it's going to be it's all going to come down to this section of racetrack. How much do you risk? 1 second 1 second is the gap. He's made a mistake as Quincy lost 2/10 there. Side by side between Ollie Bean and Dub Z. Ollie Bean through into 4th place. But that doesn't matter for Dub Z. He's going to get a podium either way. Out of the final corner of Sector 2. Down the back straight we go. It was Sluskan who once again had pole, but once again a Sluskan pole means it's a Williams victory. Let's say hello to your new championship leader, Brams. In Miami, he lands with the championship lead in a points haul of 25 points. Brams wins the Miami Grand Prix 1 second ahead of Quincy. Welcome to the podium party this season, Dub Z. Doug Sauber will take 4 of Ollie Bean by a 10th, finishes in P5. Andre takes P6. James takes P7. Cody Matic will take 8th on the road, but will probably drop down to P10 or P11. Crosses the line, falls behind Cody Matic. Scones gets the head of them, so Scones finishes P10 in this race. Jamaican Jam, last week's race winner. This one, a race to forget. P11 for him, Cody Matic 12th. Aaron in P13, despite having that 10-second penalty, will finish P13. The championship leader no more, gets the fastest lap at least, so there's a point for him at least. Some more of that mayhem, yeah. The stuff you guys had, that was yeah, the carnage out front, that was like, okay, that happened, it's racing. The stuff I watched Craig do, yeah, not a fan of Miami, I'll take that. Yeah, he did well, Lanky. Obviously, probably not where you want it to be, but can't complain. Was an okay result at a track you don't particularly like. But Brams celebrates as the new championship leader. The Williams driver takes the trophy as Quincy and Dub Z round off the podium. Dub Z from last takes P3. Brams from 16th takes first. The champagne is sprayed amongst the top 3 and the crew member. That is the Miami Grand Prix, really. Well, I say really, it is. The Miami Grand Prix is done and dusted. So, Brams wins. Brams wins and leads the championship from Quincy, who finished in P2, Dub Z in 3rd, the Sauber in 4th ahead of Ollie Bean, and then Andre in 6th, James 7th, Craig in 8th, drop a lot lower after Stewart's decisions, Lanky 9th, Scones 10th, Jamaican Jam 11th, Cody Matic 12th, Aaron 13th, the former championship leader down in 13th, Sluskan 14th, Arrow 15th, ahead of Ellis in 16th, and El Prat, our sole DNF in this Miami Grand Prix. But that is it for the Miami Grand Prix. If you enjoyed today, make sure you follow, join. If you enjoyed today, make sure you follow the Twitch, join the Discord so you can sign up and take part. And we will see you all for the next one, next time out in the Marina Bay Street Circuit. Singapore awaits the drivers. Ciao, adios. I am done.